Man, you guys are quick. Eric and Brandon, what's going on? Still getting set up here. You get the notification like clockwork. That's awesome. Mike, what's going on? Absolutely Strace car. You know it, buddy. All right, we'll give folks a few more minutes here, and then we'll get started. Just give folks a few more minutes. Just checking some audio stuff here real quick, making sure we're good to go. Hopefully y'all can hear me. All right. Didn't go bowling, so now you can catch the live. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Any updates on the last video racing? Yeah, we'll go over that here in a minute. We'll give folks another minute or two to come in so we can we'll get started here in a sec. Yeah, I figured, Starks Performance, EFI Specialties, and Clinton Machine Shop. Those are the three main drivers, we'll say, to Shake and Bake. Stark does a lot of the wrenching on Shake and Bake. EFI Specialties, Dave does all of the tuning. Mac does some of the wrenching on the car too, and then Clinton Machine Shop, they did everything to the short block for me. You know the deal. Cleaned everything up, honed it out, decked the block, cleaned the block out. Bored at 20 over. They put the crank rods and pistons in. So they did a lot of work on Shake and Bake too. So those, it's nice to give those three a shout out. And in my news videos, I use the same background. So just trying to give them guys a little bit of love. Modern red headache. That's what Mac calls the car every time I take it up there. So let's get into this. It's a minute after. We got about 8 or 9 people. Butter, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for chiming in, man. I appreciate it. Let's get into this. Talk about Shake and Bake for a little bit, and then talk a little bit about my next video, because it's gonna be, my next video to drop. It's gonna be a interesting conversation for a lot of folks. But all right, here's where we're at. Went to Capitol, ran that 197, spun a couple times. Fast forward to this past weekend, went back to Capitol, did nothing but spinning. So there really wasn't a whole lot I could do to fix that. So I tried everything I could, lowered the tire pressure a little bit. Also took out the 200 plus shift points, which is 6,700 shift points. Backed it down 100 RPMs to 6,600 shift points, and the car shifted a lot better. Acted like it should. Was 100% on point. And spinning and ran that 10-0 coming off the spin. So where we're going to be at when it comes to America versus the world next weekend, I'm not really sure. We're going to get a lot of test runs in before we start doing eliminations, so I got to kind of figure out where I'm gonna fall in that 9.5 to 10.0 class is probably kind of where it's gonna fall in, and then it's gonna depend on what the day looks like, what the track looks like. It all comes into play. You guys know the deal. It all comes into play. I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with the car. I'm questioning myself on whether the trans is actually hurt or not. I know in our chat, and Three Pedal J has hit me up. They're all thinking something's wrong with the trans. I'm not 100% sold, because once I did back it down 100 RPMs, it shifted fine during that run. So I'm gonna leave it at that for now, and I'm gonna see what happens. I gotta check this next Friday and Saturday to see if there's any test and tunes going on, or some kind of race that I can jump into, get some test runs in, see if I can get some good solid runs without spinning on this 100 plus tune, and we'll just do it. Play it by ear, right? Y'all heard me say this 1,000 times. The car is going to do what the car is going to do. It doesn't matter, what we do to it. The car's going to do what it's going to do. And when it does it, it continually does it at the same time. So it's super consistent. So that's kind of updates on the last video, and running those 10s. A little disappointing, but you have those race days, you have those track days. It is what it is. Happens all the time. Sounds good. Love the background. Appreciate it. Still waiting on to get my car out. Friggin' snow predicted this week. I know, we just can't get away from it. Hemi Challenger just can't get away from it. Yeah, I did talk about Modern Red Headache. Mac actually calls the car Modern Red Headache. Mike didn't come up with that. Mac's the one that came up with that. Yeah, Eric, it was, I don't know if it's necessarily bad track prep, because other people were hooking up and I wasn't. So it's just, it is what it is. Eric's asking where Jay's in the house. Are you gonna run ice? Absolutely gonna run ice. What I may do is just leave the 100 tune in, drain, because I still haven't drained the antifreeze out of there to be able to run ice. So I am going to drain it either this weekend or early next week, and be prepared to run ice for sure. Hemi Challenger, Three Pedal J is my idol. All right, Alex, what's happening, buddy? Thanks for chiming in. And there is Three Pedal J. He's in here. Eric the J, Alex, we got 13 inches of snow in the last day and a half. Sucks. Yeah, we got a bunch of rain the last 3 days. It's been kind of crazy, the amount of rain we got the last couple of days. Hopefully it stops. I got some things I need to do, like cut the grass. Ugh, excuse me. Yeah, I got to cut my grass, man. It looks like a jungle in my front yard. Mike's hollering at Jay. Alex, northern Wisconsin. Yeah, that's probably why you got all that snow. Butter, need a sticky background. Not one of your tires smoke. I hear you, Butter. Jay's going back to Alex. Brandon's going back to Jay. Junior's in the house. Yeah, Butter, I gotta watch your latest video, man. It's just, I'm not sure what freaking Stellantis is doing, man, but you're doing a good job of reporting the news on all that stuff, man. We all appreciate it 100%. Timothy, good evening, buddy. What's happening? Brandon, put a Hemi in the lawnmower. No doubt, right? I need to put a 7 in my lawnmower. CT Hemi Challenger raining here in Connecticut too. Yeah, it's just been terrible the past 3 days, and I've been needing to cut my grass because it's freaking sky high. But it keeps raining, so yeah, I'm kind of stuck. Timothy, battery finally quit on the rider. Saw push mow half an acre a few times before replacing it. Yeah, I hear you. Sometimes you got to do things on the cheap until you can fix what you got. That's for sure. 100%. All right, so here's my thoughts on my next video, and you guys are gonna get the heads up. The 13 people, well, I'm in here, so 12 people that we have. You're gonna get the heads up on what we're talking about. Hugh going back to CT Challenger. He's in New Britain. Wonder how far apart. Man, if you're in Connecticut, you can't be too far apart. Boom, boom. Mike, yeah, we got all kinds of flooding here today. Even the point in Schittsburg is underwater. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. CT. All right, he got my little joke. Boom, boom. All right, let's talk about what our next video is going to be until we get some questions in the chat to keep me going for the rest of the hour. But here's my next video, and it's talking about the future. Oh, about 6 miles apart, man. You guys are real close, and it's really about where the V8 is headed in general, right? And I do get into a little bit of politics, a little bit of government, because they do have something to do with what's going on with our fabulous big honking V8s, and where they're headed in the future. I mean, I know Ford says they're sticking by the V8 100%, and they're always going to have a V8. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Tim, I do talk about this, what happened in the 70s, and where that's kind of has an influence on to where we're going today. So the EPA was created in the 70s. The I call it CAFE, Corporate Average Fuel Economy, also came out in the mid 70s. So these government organizations are now sticking their nose knee deep into car manufacturers and really forcing them into the route that they're going. Now there's ways around it, right? Ford has found ways around it for now, but in my video, I think it was 2010 or 2011, it was like the CAFE was like 30 something miles, 28 miles to the gallon, something like that. And in 2026, it's over 50 miles a gallon across your product line to be able to manufacture a gas powered vehicle in America, which is ludicrous, right? Over 50 miles a gallon, again, across your entire line. And that's where Ford kind of had to step up on, at least on Dodge, that they have a broader line where they can spread that out across their line, where now Dodge is coming in. And this is what I said in my last video, talking about Tim Kaniskis, crossing my fingers. He's got something up his sleeve, to eventually possibly bring back the V8. Now, is that going to happen? I don't really know. I said it in the video. I don't really know. But I hope he does have something up his sleeve to where, all right, you come out with all these electric vehicles, come out with some V6s, you already come out with some 4-cylinders in the Hornet, right? Now you're starting to spread that fuel economy across your entire line, to where you may have the possibility of bringing back a V8. And Jay, I'm I'm missing a lot of comments up above, but yeah, I'm not blaming Dodge. It is Stellantis, and it is the government, but all the manufacturers are being pushed in this direction. I mean, even Chevy, right? So they have a much larger, uh, much larger amount of vehicles to spread that 50 miles a gallon across to make it happen where they can keep a V8 and still average over 50 miles a gallon. So yeah, it's just it is crazy. And Stellantis being headquartered in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Now, and I said it in one of my other videos in the past, and Butter, you know the deal. You've seen it too, right? So Stellantis is making a killing in the EU, and they're making a killing in the EU on electric vehicles. So now they're just trying to shove it down Americans' throats, right? But we get it. It is what it is. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what we're just gonna have to sit back and wait. I mean, that's all we can do at this point. But like I said, Tim Kaniskis, hopefully he has something. Hopefully he has something up his sleeve. Let me go back up into the comments here. Let's see, Jay. Speaking of videos, trying to piece something together here soon. There you go, buddy. Timothy, it's the freaking 70s all over again, sort of. Absolutely 100%. It's the 70s on steroids, right? Like I said, it's the 70s where this all started. This all started from. This all started from was the gas crisis, the energy crisis back in the 70s, which some of you may have been around to feel that. Some of you probably are reading it in your history book. But yeah, the 70s has a lot to do with what's going on today. No doubt about it. CT, yeah, bro. Tuner is Coulter, prolific performance. Who is yours? All right, he's going back and forth. We need to vote all of these clowns out of office. Yeah. So I do try and stay out of political game, but I knew I had to get into it in this video. Some, because it has 100% has something to do with the way things are going. But yeah, it's tough, Jay. It really is. There's not a whole lot of good choices out there, and I don't foresee us having good choices anytime soon. And that's the bad part. Junior, I bought some Ford stock just because of that. Yeah. Term limits, Jay. We need freaking term limits and minimum and maximum age limits. Yeah, I agree with you too, Jay. Or Brandon. 100%. There's, you can't let these guys be in office forever. Either shorten the term limits, make sure we have term limits, or shorten the ones that we already have. Timothy, 3-pedal J. If it wouldn't be the old boss, new boss routine, seems what it ought to be. Tim, Brandon, bingo. Pedal J's facts. Eric says that's crazy. 100%. Worst part, EPA is not a lawmaking body, yet they let run rampant. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are not a lawmaking body. They are an enforcement agency, not a lawmaking body. But yeah, they seem to try and interpret things how they want to interpret things. And that's kind of putting car manufacturers in the positions they're in. It's not us, it's the car manufacturers are being put into this position by all these rules. I get it, Jay. It is Stellantis. Kind of works for Ford. Yeah. Dort. Yeah. Jay, I've been saying this forever. Stealing that. 100. Butter, it's the Europeans. 100%. Like I said, Stellantis is based in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and like I said, in the European Union, they're killing it with the electric cars over there. But over here, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Brandon, yeah, we got 80, 90-year-olds making major decisions for us, no doubt about it. Yeah, we need some fresh blood, that's for sure. I agree with you there. Without getting too deep into the politics of things, I agree. But the problem is, here's the problem. This is just me. All right, I'm gonna dabble into politics just for a second. This is just my thoughts, my opinions. No facts to back it up, but I think you'll kind of agree with me when I say this. The reason why certain people are being put into office is because they speak to the majority of voters. Today, the majority of voters are those people that are uninformed of how politics works and how things go. So, you're hearing all these great things from all these politicians, and now all these uninformed, I'll say uninformed, I won't say uneducated, because there's some smart people that fall for it, right? But the uninformed voter hears that and is like, man, that sounds good. I'm going to vote for that guy. And guess what happens? A lot of people vote for that guy, and that guy winds up back in office. That's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts. But I think that's the problem, is the majority of voters are uninformed on how government and politics work, and they take these politicians for their word, thinking they can make these things happen. But in the end, even the politicians know they can't make these things happen that they're saying. They're only saying it because they're appealing to those that are uninformed, and those are the majority of voters in America today. That's just my opinion. All right, Tim, what do they know about climate science, computer programming, cryptocurrency, etc.? Right. Butter, we don't want your Euro crap. I'm 100% with you, Butter. I don't want it either. But like I said, it's the way the political landscape is going at this point. And until we get people in office that are willing to change that direction, we're going to continue to go that way. I mean, Chandler, don't know that I want these idiot 20-year-olds making decisions for us too, right? Yeah. Here we go. Now we're going down the rabbit hole, man. I opened up the floodgates. I don't want to get into the generations discussion either, but that also has something to do with it. I'm also with you there. I don't think you can be too old. I don't think you can be too young. You just got to find that happy medium. You got to be 35 or older to become president. I don't know if we ever had one close to 35. I think they've all been older gentlemen that run for president. But I'm with you, Hemi Challenger. There should be a higher age limit set on our representatives in Congress. But unfortunately, again, the political landscape is what it is. Sooner or later, we're going to get out of the boomers. We're going to get into, we're obviously into Gen X, Gen Y. Eventually, that's going to switch over to, the millennials and Z/millennials. And I can't even keep up with the generations now, but yeah, there's going to be a change in the guard, and what's going to happen when that happens, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Butter, I was told it depends who's in office, what they could do with the V8. Yeah, yeah. So here we go. This is just me again, and y'all can beat me up if you want to. Republicans on one side of the house, electric, EPA, cafe supporters, and then you got the Democrats Or no, other way around. I'm sorry. Democrats wanting EVs, fuel efficient, environmentally friendly, blah blah blah. And then on the other hand, you got the Republicans aren't so concerned, and maybe we get our V8 back. I don't know, but it's the next few years is going to be interesting. I mean, we're gonna have the same choice we had 4 years ago. It seems like. So I don't know what's going to happen, but Butter, it's definitely going to be interesting to see who makes it in the office and what happens from there. I mean, we're really narrow-minded looking at things right now, just looking at us and V8s and cars. You know, the president has a much broader scheme to it, other than just what we're talking about right here. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who gets into office and what happens. How's our carbon emission doesn't affect climate? It's just that the little guy isn't the problem. I got you, Heavy Challenger. All right. EPA is definitely out of control, no doubt about it. ProCharge 392, thanks for chiming in. Yeah, Jay, I mean, you kind of loop these generations into one big pot, but it's all the generations are the same, right? You have your good ones, you have your bad ones. You just got to figure out which one's which and not vote in the bad ones. But obviously, we do a pretty good job of voting in the bad ones. Eric saying Butter's probably right. ProCharge, I agree to a point, but there's certainly some useless kids out there these days. I'm with you, Hemi Challenger. Absolutely. Bruce, what's going on, buddy? I hear you, Jay. Yeah, we got to come to a happy medium somewhere, and not sure if we'll ever get there. Yeah, ProCharge, we talked about those runs earlier. The wind was terrible. I mean, when you have a 25 mile an hour headwind, that takes at least a tenth or two right there off the top. Bruce, another stick shift. Yes, sir. Mario, we need Trump back. You know it. It's a tough well, it's from this perspective, from talking about V8s and gas mileage and EPA, it's not a tough decision. From a lot of other perspectives, it's a little tougher decision to say, to just blanket say we need Trump back. I was trying to stay away from saying that, but yeah, we're definitely gonna have to see how the election goes. If you can't remember name, you shouldn't be president. Misinformed sheep. Yes. Misinformed is definitely the word. Uninformed, misinformed, disinformed. A lot of people still, take the internet for gospel. They read stuff on the internet, especially a lot of these news agencies, and they take that as gospel. And yeah. And a lot of people don't want to do their research, don't want to look into things, don't want to take into account others' opinions. All of that, it's tough. Love the tax breaks under 45, but didn't like how crazy society got. Yeah. Timothy, as they're destined to be. Bruce, don't talk about politics, but I'm so glad you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah, Jay, just my opinions. You know me, I don't like to get into politics in my videos in here, but unfortunately, this topic it is a big part of it for us. But I really think I'm gonna get back into the topic. There are a lot of things car manufacturers will say car manufacturers, fuel manufacturers can do to fix the situation. I've talked about it before. There's Porsche has a whole thing where they literally make gas from air. Right, so they take all the carbon, all the carbon dioxide, all that in the air, and do some whiz bang wizardry freaking science crap, and spits out like 93 octane gas. Now, at that time, this was probably about a year ago, Donut Media did a video on it. RT Life did a video on it. They said it was roughly $40-something a gallon right now. But if they were to advance that carbon neutral fuel for the V8s, we wouldn't have to get rid of V8s. Now, I'm not a big fan of the hydrogen thing. The problem with hydrogen is then you have to create a whole nother support structure at the gas station to support hydrogen vehicles. Right? So hydrogen engines work 100%, spits out water, great. But it's just like the EVs at that point, right? So the infrastructure for the EVs not there. The same thing for a hydrogen engine out there. The infrastructure is not there. So we would have to have a massive switch from gasoline to hydrogen to force gas stations to then provide hydrogen, right? It's hard enough to get them to do E85 right now, which E85 is not as environmentally friendly as everybody thinks it is because of the way it's made and how it's made. But that's a whole nother story. But even E85 is not as prevalent as everyone would like it to be. But all right, back to the comments real quick. Timothy, people are sheep because they should or want to be. They are because the system has the power to keep them full of wood. Yeah. That's true. That's it goes back to my point is, people take TV, internet, they take it for 100% truth, and then we wind up in the situation we're in. President's cameras, Congress will make solid Congress changes the law. True. I'm not turning it into Biden Trump shit show. That's not the plan of the video. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Vote how you want. Do your research. And vote how you want. All I'm saying is do your research rather than just taking one myopic view of the world, right? Doing the research is key, Alex. That's kind of my point. Do your research. It's also the judicial branch makes a huge difference. Yep. Timothy not voting for either. Excellent point, Alex. Yep. I'm gonna ban myself. Oh gosh. All right. Yeah, Alex, that's a good point too. There's not as many younger people into I would say into V8s. There's a lot of younger people into the tuner scene, the import scene, not as many youngsters into the American muscle car scene. But yeah, you brought it up. Tracks are shutting down all over the country. Is what it is. Jay's still looking for Hemis. He's trying to hoard all the Hemis. Wait, I'm going back up. I missed it. I missed a lot. I'm gonna ban myself. There's Alex. Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot of complaining about the tracks, and the problem is these tracks, when they were built out in the middle of nowhere. Well, out in the middle of nowhere is no longer out in the middle of nowhere. Now they're building, these housing right up against the track, and now the housing is complaining because of the track. That's the problem. Uh, Bruce, just say what you really think. I do sometimes. Right. Going back, talking about buying Hemis. Everyone's trying to hoard them. Angel popped in 6'4", Molly internals, cam headers, and E85. I must have missed the question. I'm going back up. Angel, I must have missed your question. If you can, ask that question again down below, and I'll get to it here in a second. Jay thinks he saw that too. The closest president of 35 was John F. Kennedy, was 43. Yeah. Thanks, Hugh. I appreciate it. Checking me out, making sure I'm on point. That's true. That's true, Alex. You got a point. 85 does much better with boost or high compression, 100%. Jay, need why big one. All right, Bruce is asking Jay a question. Mario, what PSI on a stock 392 Challenger? So, Mario, stock 392, I would not go over 8 pounds of boost, period. 8 pounds of boost is like the limit, right? When you look all over the place, I've seen it, too many YouTube videos, anything over 10 or anything over 8, the 392s just can't take it. And it's not the block, it's the piston and where the rings sit on the piston. If you do a set of drop-ins on a 392, sky is the limit after that. All you have to do is get some drop-ins. Your crank is already forged. Mario, you do a set of drop-ins for, I think the drop-ins are like $1,500, $1,600. From that point, you're good. Hoosier 28 by 10 by 17 slick. Yep, that's what I run. The Hoosier DBRs. But don't go over 8, Mario. Don't go over 8. Jay's going back to Bruce. Hugh, you can't argue politics with people. They believe what they want to believe, and you can't convince them otherwise. That's kind of my point, right? People get stuck in their opinions and don't try to see or understand the other side of the argument. Can't have my bush light. All right, Bruce. Not just politics, anything human brain ignores logic, facts, and doubles down on previous belief. Tim, are you a psychiatrist, man? That's pretty good. I like that. Jay's going back to Bruce. Bruce is going back to Jay. Eric, a new fuel would be awesome. Yeah, but it has to be gas. It has to be gas. Yeah, however they figure it out, it's got to be a gas product. And like I said, that seems pretty promising to me, to be able to make gas out of air, to make gas carbon neutral, because from the CO2 you're putting back in the air, you're making more gas out of the CO2. But Yep. Still going to need oil anyway, 100%. Jay's going back to Mario. Oh. Yeah, Mario, if you're on the Hoosiers, Jay, I disagree with you. Yes, if it's a true slick and not a DBR, Jay, I agree with you. But if it's a Hoosier DBRs, I would start at 18, 19, or 20 because I run mine at 20, my DBRs. But if you're a true bias ply slick, I agree with Jay when he says 15 PSI. But Mario, I thought you were talking about PSI. All right. So does it really matter? Yeah. God, this thing keeps skipping on me. Still gonna use my E85 is greener than is greener than lithium. Yes, sir. True, but it's not viable as gas. I tend to agree with you there, Timothy. Look at Corn Rex for E85. Switch, it's impossible. Yeah, we'd have to grow a whole lot more corn than what we're growing now. That's for sure. Jay, great advice, buddy. Anyone, if my slick is 28-inch diameter, do I need to tune the tire size in? No, Bruce, you're fine. Like Jay said, you're fine. Because your stock tires are 28 inches. So you should be fine. E85 is the way to go. Is the way, but only get 551 gallons per acre of corn. So, which is a problem. Yeah, that's what Timothy was saying up above. I have to do a wideband well once I get the car out. Want to line up the cables. Yeah. Even with 29, you don't have to recalibrate. I ran that side for 2 years before. There you go, Bruce. Yep, you're good. Catless, not cables. Now you can't find a 29 and a half, 11 and a half out of 17, but a few years ago that was. Gotcha. Timothy's going back to Jay. Bruce is going back to Jay. Brandon takes about. Man, you guys are bringing out the facts on E85, man. I love it. So we're saying it takes about 10,000 kernels to make 1 gallon of ethanol. All right. All right. Jay's going back to everybody here. Brandon, 8 pounds no more. Yeah, I thought he wanted to know how much PSI he can put in a 392, not how much PSI in the tires. So hopefully, Mario, hopefully we answered your question. I've learned the ways. May the force be with you. That's true, Tim. Learn from my failures. Don't fail on your own. Learn from my failures. Don't waste your money. Cameron, when would you change the fluid and filter on an HP70 transmission? Currently 62,000 miles on my 2020 Charger. I want to say the manual's not like 100,000, but you could do it. You could do it at 50,000. Don't flush it, Cameron. Don't flush it. You can go ahead and change it now, right? 60,000. That's a good time to change. You can change it now. Don't flush it. Make sure you use approved ZF transmission fluid. Don't use any other kind of transmission fluid or you'll ruin your transmission. Stick with the ZF. I know it's expensive, especially if you get it from the dealership, but you can get ZF transmission fluid from Amazon as well, a little bit cheaper. But I'm telling you, if you use another brand of transmission fluid mixed in with the ZF, it's going to ruin your trans. So stick with the ZF fluid. Jace gives you lessons on breaking all Hemis, that's for sure. Too bad corn prices are terrible. So less corn will be planted. Yeah, that's the problem with the 85. It depends on the corn yield too. Part of the problem with tracks is the amount of land is required. The land is worth too much money to keep it at a drag ship. That's what happened to Houston Motorsports and ATCO. Yeah, and it's all because of human expansion, right? As expansion comes into these cities and different places, like you said, Hugh, the land becomes more valuable at that point. Not only are people complaining because they move beside a racetrack, but the value of the land of the racetrack has gone skyrocketed. And yeah, let me make some money and sell my racetrack rather than me, squabbling trying to make money as a racetrack. I can sell the land and be done with it and retire forever. Yeah, that's kind of where stuff's going. And I won't perk. It's just a Copo lot now. Yep. 14th South Mountain. If I run 2-step quarter plugs, nitrous outlet nozzle guide, I put my safety. Bruce, I'll let that question over to Jay. Z, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate it. Oh gosh, here we go. This thing keeps jumping on me. Bruce is going back to Mike. 29.5 is a 315 ET Street R. All right. When you're counting kernel corn, does it count those that float in the You're a hoot. You're a hoot, you. That's a good one. So it doesn't run too lean. Watt to safety cut from wideband. Yep. Camera. Look how the BMW guys do it. That's true, Timothy. The BMW guys figured the ZF trans out a long time ago. Mario, cat delete down pipe for track only. Is it worth it? More power, better sound? Do I need a tune? Once you do the cat delete, you need a tune, or you're going to wind up with check engine lights. Yeah, 16-1 is super lean. I said it 15.5 at Watt. On an NA setup, you should be around 12.3 to 12.5. Yeah. I'm not sure. But was asking about bracket radios. Does it matter? My American Race Solution tensioner arrived. Super excited. All right, man. That's awesome. I don't need to do anything with my transmission fluid. When I had a torque converter swap, the morons that did the work didn't replace the fluid that was lost. Oh gosh, you gotta watch out for these shops, man. Alex, going back to Mario. Yep, like I said, if you delete your cat, you're gonna need a tune. Jay got his stuff from Brandon. Bruce saying a data log at 16 at 59. Wow. That's lean. That's super lean. That is crazy lean. Yeah, wide open throttle, you should be at around 12.3, 12.5, and like Tim says, 13-1. That's you're getting in the danger zone at 13-1. Think I can run 100 wet shot? Well, that's the thing with wet shot. Wet shot's going to add fuel, so you shouldn't have to worry about your AFR. If your wet shot is dialed in right, you shouldn't have to worry about your AFR. The only time you got to worry about your AFR is when you're, you got to worry about it on a wet shot because you got to make sure you're pumping enough fuel to compensate for the wet shot. But where you really got to pay attention is the dry shot because you're relying on the tune to add the fuel. You're not adding the fuel through the nitrous system. HV rating is a great option. It is great. I still have mine. I'm still using mine. And I don't have any belt slip that I've noticed. Depends on what stoic is, but most tuners because 14 to 7 to be stoic, so anything above 15 is lean. Jay's going back to Bruce, 100 wet shot all the way. We need all the LS sensor swap kits. Yeah. All right, Bruce. All right. Be careful, buddy. Don't go too lean. That's one thing you don't want to do is go that lean. All right. Jay's going back to Bruce, 12.7 to 11.79 was awesome. All right. Alex, anyone have rumors on the Demon 170 flex fuel sensor being put on another Hemi platform? Would be awesome to be able to convert that to a 5.7 or a 6.4. There's plenty of flex fuel options out there for the Hemi. There's already some out there. It's just there's not a lot of tuners that are going to tune them. That's what you got to find, someone that's willing to tune the flex fuel system. That's why I'm on straight E85, because with a flex fuel, it's really tough to tune. All right, good night, Eric. We'll see you next week, buddy. If you're going over a 75 shot of nitrous, you should use a wet system. For 50 shot dry system, fine. Yep. Deleting first and second, third and fourth are armed. Gotcha. Alex, problem with converting Demon Hellcat sensors to no Hellcat Demon setups is the logic in the computers. Absolutely. Absolutely, that's the problem. But like I said, there are flex fuel systems out there for the Hemis. You can just go out there and buy it. But like I said, finding a tuner to tune it for you might be a problem. Flex fuel kits are also expensive as well. $700, $1,000 for some kits. Yep. I'd love to put a fogger in my shaker eventually. Inefficient but hidden. Especially with a shaker, there's a lot of places you can hide all that stuff. Brandon, think I paid $750 for my flex fuel kit. Yep. Where are we at here? Oh, we got about 8 minutes. Brandon, just plug it into the intake. Yep. Super easy. If you're just going to do a 50 to 75 shot, dry shot, super easy. Mike Hauser, E-Fuel Flex Kit from 7 something to 9 something. Yep. Hugh, with aftermarket fuel system, flex fuel systems, reliability is a problem. That's why tuners don't want to touch them. Yep. And they're a bear to tune. Alternate option to flex fuel is run water meth kit, but use water. Ethanol blend VP Racing sells 20% water, 80% ethanol. That's also good. But like I said, with water meth, you just got to be careful and make sure you never run out of it. Because if you run out of it and you're tuned for it, then there's trouble. So Get some kind of sensor, or pay attention if you use your washer fluid tank. Be wary when that thing goes off and says you're out. Be sure you got something to put in there, because being tuned for it and running out is a bad thing. 170 factory stuff is going to be legit. Yeah. I just say run SRT 885. It works and is so much fun. Yeah. But will Dodge let us get our hands on it? That's the question. Well, to be honest, a lot of the stuff that they tossed into the Demon 170 is all of the aftermarket stuff that we've been doing to our cars for years. So AAD suspension is one of them, right? The 309 rear diff. Yeah, so some of the stuff that they put into the Demon is already out there. You just got to go find it. Bruce, wait, E85 is more than half than of 93. You lost me. The Durs diff race, yep. Yeah, Jay, you bring up a great point, buddy. GM has the best flex fuel system because it samples the fuel. Ford sampled the emissions to provide the correct amount of fuel. Yep. But Bruce, I'm not sure your question. So I know that's the original Demon. When the 2018 Demon came out, you couldn't get Demon parts without a VIN. But now with direct connection, you can begin to get some of those, not all of the parts for the Demons, but you can get some of those parts through direct connection. So some of them parts are out there. It's just when you go through direct connection, you're gonna pay out the yin yang for them. And the Demon diff is big money because it is built stronger than the regular 309. Yeah, Jay, it'll be interesting to see what the aftermarket does now that Dodge is killing off the Hemi V8. It'll be interesting to see if the aftermarket continues to. Arguably, we get very little support now. If we're going to get any more support in the future. Is the Holly Terminator X standalone ECO worth it for a street build? I think so. Right? You can hook it into. You got to do some finagling, but you can hook it into the stock harness and still use everything that you normally use in a street car in the street side of the house, and take advantage of the Terminator's additional tuning per se. But yeah, you gotta cut into your harness. They did come out with a system that you can directly connect, but it's super expensive. It's like, I can't remember, like $3,500 to directly swap it into the original harness. But that's literally brand new and just came out on the market, so it's super expensive. But yeah, you can look into it. I have strange build up and down from there. I have the next one down from the Durs. Haven't put it on yet. Oh, so you got Mike, you got the little red one, right? I used that red one for a long time. I was in the 600s horsepower when I was still using it. So it's a pretty good diff brace. And then I moved to the Durs. Yeah, the little red one's good. It'll last you a good little while, but I think once you get in that 650 or so, I would switch over to the Durs. I meant to run the 85 and the HP torque worth the cost as opposed to other methods. I'm asking. Yeah, Bruce, I can't remember. I don't think you're boosted, so I don't think you're going to get... you'll get some of the advantages of E85 being NA, but for the most part, the big advantages come in when you're boosted. Mike Brandon asked that for the builder. He said it's better for racing. Yeah. Houston is holding back the supply of parts for direct connection. More should be available now that the Hemi is no longer being produced. Hopefully so. We'll see. Bruce just ordered TVS 2650. All right. $3,500. Okay. So about a week on the railroad for me. Look into it, Brandon. It literally just came out, and there's only one shop that has it. I can't remember the shop. Jay, maybe you remember who it was, but it's super expensive. Yeah, Bruce. As soon as you go boost, E85, 100%. Mike, thanks. Didn't know it would be overkill for a street car. FYI, aftermarket diffs don't need a brace. PA has nasty weather, no doubt. True, but they might require a different class. All right, Jay, we'll talk to you later, buddy. And it is 10 o'clock. Jay, hold me to it. It is 10 o'clock, folks. And like Jay said, if you're in the area, if you're in the DMV, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia area, on the 14th of April, come see us at Capitol Raceway. It's Capitol with an O, not Capitol with an A. It's Capitol with an O. Capitol Raceway in Crofton, Maryland, April 14th. America versus the world. It's going to be a great time. Man, we're gonna have a blast. And again, I appreciate everyone coming into the chat. I appreciate everyone supporting the channel, because y'all know the deal. All that support that you put into the channel goes into Shake and Bake. Good night, everybody. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you next week. And hey, we're getting ready for America versus the world. That's it for this one, folks. Till next time. Adios.